Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is the start of a reading vlog. I kind of want to get back into doing just like casual weekly or weekend vlogs with no theme where I can just read whatever I want to read. As much fun as I have doing like more intensive themed reading vlogs, they just take so much out of me like creatively to do that it's like I just don't have the energy. And also I've had a couple back to back that just didn't end up working out, so it kind of just feels like all this like wasted time and effort and energy. And I know that you guys don't care. Like, I know that you guys are fine with just chill reading vlogs. It's more of like a me thing. Like, I love doing themed ones so much, but they just take so much work and I can't do them that often. So I'm putting aside all of my themed reading vlog plans that I have right now. I had a couple that I was in the middle of, but I just need some time. Hello, interrupting here for a minute to let you guys know that this video is being sponsored by Book of the Month. So Book of the Month is a online book subscription service where every month they curate a selection of new release hardcovers and you can choose out of their selection which one you want to read. It's a really great way to find new authors and explore new genres. You can skip at any time if you aren't feeling the book selections that month, and with my code Riley you can get your first box for just $9.99. Here with me I have the selections for April. So first up we have a book called True Biz by Sarah Novick, and this follows the romantic, political, and familial shifts for a teacher and her students at this boarding school for the deaf. I'm very excited for this book. You guys know how much I love reading about disability representation, so I really have my eye on this one. Then we have Like a Sister by Kylie Garrett. This is a thriller where a Black reality TV star is found dead in the Bronx and no one bats an eye, except for her estranged half-sister who is desperate to get to the bottom of what happened. Tayaki by Vaishnavi Pate, which is an Indian fantasy mythological retelling about a woman who has been vilified and is determined to leave her mark on a world where gods and men dictate everything. This is another one I'm very, very excited for. You guys know my buzzwords are villainous women. The Good Left Undone by Adriana Trigiani. This is a historical fiction following 3 generations of Tuscan artists. And then lastly, we have a nonfiction selection, and that is Bittersweet by Susan Cain. So like I said, this is a nonfiction about the power of a bittersweet outlook on life, how sorrow and longing make us whole. Kind of sounds like the way that I already live my life. So if you want to get any of these selections for $9.99, you can use my link in the description and the code Riley. And once again, thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. I have 3 books here that are left on my TBR for this month. They're all romance books. Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. This is the 3rd book in her Brutal Birthright series. It's Mafia. Then we have War by Laura Thalassa, which is the 2nd book in the 4 Horsemen series. These are post-apocalyptic, kind of fantasy-ish romances. And then we have Stillbeating by Jennifer Hartman, which is a dark romance. So those are gonna be my reading plans this week. I'm very excited. I feel 5-star potential from some of these. I think the one that I'm gonna start with is Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. I have this one on audio, and the audiobook is pretty short, so I feel like I can just listen to it today while I do some chores around the house. So this one is following Nero, who is kind of like the chaotic brother of the family. He's a little crazy, a little like very intense. I'm excited for his romance. I believe that this one has something to do with like a heist or like car racing, but I've loved books 1 and 2 in this series so far, so I'm sure that I'm gonna love this. Oh my god, this is bad lighting. Anyways, I think while I'm listening to that audiobook, the first thing that I'm gonna do is my nails, because the last set that I had came off. So I need to pick out which ones I want to put on. Let me show you guys what I have. So these are the 3 sets that I have currently. I love this brand because I can make these nails last for like 4 weeks. So yeah, I don't know which ones I'm gonna pick. I really am like leaning towards this blue color, but I also love this with the little hearts. I did want to wear these for Valentine's Day, but the other set that I had on, like I said, lasted a month, and I didn't want to take them off for Valentine's Day, just put a different one on. I don't know. I wish you guys could give me input on which ones I should put on. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna do the hearts. I don't know. I've just been really wanting to wear these. So I'm going to put these on and start listening to the audiobook for Savage Lover.
A Dark Mafia Romance. Brutal Birthright, Book 3. Written by Sophie Lark. Performed by Lee Daniels and Michael Gallagher. 1. I've been stuck under this Silverado for 3 hours now. I'm taking out the transmission, one of my absolute least favorite tasks.
I'm done with my nails. They came out so cute. I need to file them down a little bit, but I'm gonna wait a little bit for the glue to dry. But I was listening to Savage Lover the whole time, and I am now over halfway into it. And I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm not liking it as much as the first 2 books, and that's really sad to me. Like, I'm not disliking it, but I feel like the first 2 books were so good, especially book 2, Stolen Heir, was amazing. And then to like go into this, it's just so different. This doesn't even feel like a mafia book. So far, there's really been nothing about it that's mafia. We're following Nero, who is from the Gallows family. He's part of the Italian mafia. And then the heroine, her name is Camille, and she went to school with Nero. They know each other from school, and she grew up very poor, so she was kind of like an outcast in her school. Her father is a mechanic, and she works on cars with him, and Nero is like a very big car guy, so that's kind of like how they have a connection. He brings his car into her mechanic shop, and that's like how they start interacting with each other. There's also this like plot with a dirty cop who's like blackmailing Camille to like help him take down this drug dealer, and then Nero is like working on a heist to like rob this like rich business guy's bank vault. And like the plot is interesting. I'm interested in this like heist aspect. They just had a car race and that was cool. But it just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me, this book, like being part of this series that is a mafia series, and like books 1 and 2 were very heavily mafia. And then this one isn't at all. And it almost has like new adult college vibe to it. I can't really pinpoint why, because they're not in school, they're not students, but it just has that feeling to it that the first 2 books didn't have. And I also feel like I'm over halfway into it, and Nero and Camille have barely had any scenes together. They've had way more scenes separately, like involved in their own separate plots, than they have together. So I don't know that I'm like feeling the romance as much. It could possibly have to do with the fact that like it was kind of not insta love, but like insta attraction. They kissed very quickly, whereas like with books 1 and 2, they were both enemies to lovers, and like heavy enemies to lovers. So it took a while for the couples in book 1 and 2 to develop, whereas they like kind of have this instant attraction and chemistry. I don't know why. It's just not working for me, and I'm not like disliking it. I feel like I would like it more if it was not part of this series, because I'm like, I was so excited for Nero's book because he was like my favorite brother from the family, and I was like, oh my god, his book is just gonna be crazy, like crazy mafia, and that's just not what it is. And I'm like sad about it because it's not like, I don't know, it's just not what I was expecting. So I'm gonna finish it. It's going by very, very quickly. That's one of the great things about the series is I love Sophie Lark's writing. It's very accessible writing. Like it's just, it goes by so quickly, and like I read all her books in like 1 or 2 sittings. So I'm gonna finish this and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. I feel like I'm gonna be giving it 3 stars. I don't know, I'm just kind of disappointed. It's not what I wanted. All right, I finished, I feel like 3.5 stars is where I've landed at. It was not a bad book by any means. It felt out of place within the series. It was not a mafia book, even though this is a mafia series. I liked the chemistry between Nero and Camille in the scenes that they were in, but there was not enough of them to make, like, it just, I don't know. It was not enough. I actually saw on Goodreads, Sophie Lark commented on somebody's review and was like, yeah, this is the worst book in the series. And I'm like, oh my God. We love a self-aware author. I think that's one of the things that I just love about her so much. Like, as a person, she's one of my favorite authors. And I feel like that sort of embodies why I love her so much. She's so self-aware, and I feel like as an author, if you cannot be aware of when maybe you weren't successful in your writing or what your worst book is, if you're not aware of that or you can't like see that, then you're never gonna improve. So just the fact that she is self-aware enough to know that this book was not it, I have faith that the rest of the series will get better. It's weird though, because it feels like this was her first book. Like, books 1 and 2 were so good, and then it doesn't make sense. Especially like coming off of Stolen Heir. Stolen Heir was the best so far. It goes book 2, Stolen Heir, book 1, Brutal Prince, and then this one probably is gonna be at the way bottom. If it hadn't been part of this series and I didn't have any expectations for it, maybe I would have rated it higher. It just really didn't feel like it fit. But I loved the plot. Like, the heist part of the plot was super interesting to me. It just, I don't know, it just didn't work how it was. So 3.5 stars. I'm still excited to continue with the series. Okay, I'm stalling now because I do not know what to make for dinner. I have nothing. I have nothing. My fridge is sadly empty. My pantry is empty. I do not know what to make. So I'm gonna go try to figure this out. And then maybe I will start another book tonight. So I think the next book I'm gonna start is Stillbeating, but I think I'm going to wait and start this tomorrow because I am watching, or I'm rewatching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is just like my comfort show. So a couple days ago, I restarted watching it from the beginning. I think I'm almost done with season 2. This might be the last episode. So I think I'm just gonna do this tonight. And then I'm gonna start this in the morning because I know that this is not the kind of book that I'm gonna wanna start like right before bed. The beginning of this book I have already read, and it's very, very dark. I'm kind of wondering if I even want to reread the beginning of this because I did start reading this back in January, and it's a lot. It's very intense. So I'm not starting this before I go to bed. And I'll start it tomorrow. I'm not ready to talk about this book yet, but I just want to say it is 3 a.m. and I just finished Stillbeating. I haven't even taken my makeup off. I'm crusty, dusty. I've been crying, but like, can we take a look at my waterproof eyeliner and mascara? You can't even tell. Who is she? She has not been crying. Like, I'm feeling so many emotions because I literally finished it 2 minutes ago. I will give you guys an actual review in the morning, but like, wow, that blew me away. So, it's actually been a while since I have updated this vlog. I went home to my parents' house for a while, and I did not film anything while I was there. So I haven't talked to you guys about this book, but I'm assuming by the point that this vlog is gonna be up, I will have talked about this book in several other videos because I am in love. I am obsessed. This book was so good, and have I even said what this is about in this vlog? I don't think I have. Okay, so this is a dark romance. This girl is kidnapped with her sister's fiance. They are kidnapped together by this serial killer who always kidnaps a man and a woman who aren't dating and keeps them locked up in his basement and tortures them, tries to make them fall in love with each other, and then he kills them. So the main character and her sister's fiance get kidnapped together. They have a very like, I don't want to say enemies because that's extreme, but they're definitely rivals. He's like the last person that she wants to be in this situation with. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say about this book beyond how much I loved it. This book is super dark. I want to make that very clear. It is very dark. A lot of triggers, specifically for sexual assault. A lot. It's a lot. But this story is so beautiful, and I think the reason why I loved this so much and why it worked for me so much is because the main part of this book and the main focus is not about what happened to them in the basement when they were kidnapped. It's about what happens afterwards, and I found that so interesting because I feel like, especially within dark romance and like this kind of kidnapping subgenre of dark romance, you don't really get to see what happens to the victim after they escape and how they find their way back into a normal life and dealing with the trauma and the PTSD and not being able to trust anyone. These two characters are so drawn together afterwards because no one else in their life can understand or sympathize with what they went through other than each other. And so they're really like tethered together, and it's just like, I fully believe that these characters are soulmates and that they were meant to be together. There's so many times like I will read a romance book and I'm like, yeah, these characters are cute together, they have chemistry, but like, are they actually gonna last? Are they meant to be? It's very rare that I feel soulmate level chemistry between two characters, and they were soulmates. They were soulmates. So they like very much trauma bonded, and what I loved so much was how this book touched on the toxicity of trauma bonding and how it can go way too far to where it's unhealthy. I think that this is one of the best depictions of trauma and healing from that. Clearly, I give this 5 stars. This was amazing. I genuinely will be shocked if there's a romance that tops this for me this whole year. This book was everything to me. So I haven't actually talked to you guys about my book updates in a couple days. I decided to pick up Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. This is the first book in the Fallen Men series, and I'm not liking this. I asked on my Instagram last night if I can DNF this and still read the rest of the series. Pretty much everybody said yes. However, I have now learned that the 4th book in this series also follows this couple, so I guess I have to skip that one too. Okay, let's talk about why this didn't work for me. So I did not get very far. I'm gonna be honest. I only read 80 pages. And that was enough for me. I like the motorcycle club aspect. I can see that I like the world. I'm interested in some of the side characters that have popped up a little bit and like the stories that I've heard. But I hate this couple and these two characters. So this is an age gap. He's 18 and she is 25 or 26. She's his teacher. He's a student in high school. He's also the president of the motorcycle club's son. There's a lot of reasons why this didn't work for me. Number one, student teacher I think is very hard to get me on board with it. The circumstances have to be just right. And I feel like I would be fine with it if they had met entirely outside of school. Neither of them knew that the other person, like, he didn't know she was his teacher. She didn't know he was her student. Neither of them knew. And then, you know, like when they showed up to class, it was like, oh fuck, right? That's not what happened. Basically, he completely deceived her. She saw him like in a grocery store parking lot one day and was like very attracted to him, but didn't know who he was. And then he transfers into her school that she's teaching at and sees that she is his teacher and ditches school and doesn't show up to her class for days so that he can manufacture a meeting between them at a bar. So they meet for the first time at a bar and they hit it off and have a great night together, and like she rides on the back of his motorcycle, they kiss, and then he shows up like the next day in her class and is her student, and she's shocked and bewildered. And he literally says like, I purposefully met you outside of school because I knew if we met in like the outside world, you would have been mine. And that pissed me off so much because like he played with her life, he played with her job and her career. Like she could have been fired for that. And he completely lied to her and deceived her and manipulated her. And that was strike one. That was strike one. Strike two is that I love age gaps where it's an older woman, younger man, and I've read a lot. However, this did not read like that. She's like I said, 25, 26, I can't remember, and he's 18, but it literally read like she is the 18-year-old and he is like 35. Like when I read age gaps where it's a younger woman, older man, the man acts like an older man and the woman usually acts like, if she's 18, 19, they're usually written like an 18, 19-year-old. King literally, quite literally was written like he's a 35-year-old man. And I was not buying it. I was not buying it at all. And I was not buying that like this 26-year-old woman who has a career, who has a home, who's like settled. She was so naive. So that was strike 2. And then strike 3, which was probably the biggest one, is that King's pet name for her is Babe. He literally starts calling her Babe the second that they meet. And that's fine. Like, Babe is not on my list of preferred pet names. It's not the pet name that I had the problem with. It is the insane amount with which he said it. I had to search on my Kindle how many times he said the word babe. It's 174 times. 174. For context, this book is only 366 pages. So let's do a little quick math. 366 pages divided by 174 words, 2.1. If you average it out, he said babe every 2 pages. Every 2 pages. However, it was not spaced out. There were multiple instances within 1 page, he said it 8 times. And I think that it was so glaringly obvious because I was listening to the audiobook. So if I was physically reading, I probably, like, my eyes could have like skimmed over every babe. But because I was listening to the audiobook, I had to hear every single babe. And it took me out every single time because it was just so much. It was too much. Any pet name said that many times would have been too much. So yeah, this was just not for me. But I do want to continue with this series because I feel like it was mostly this specific couple that wasn't working for me. So I'm willing to try the other books with the other couples. And I've committed to this series, okay? I own most of them. Actually, it's funny because the only book that I don't own is book 4, which is the other one that follows this couple, like when they're a little bit older. So that works out perfect. I don't need to buy that book. But I'm very intrigued by the second book, which follows his dad, who like is recently getting out of prison. Zeus, I think is his name, is the character that I've been the most intrigued by and the reason why I wanted to pick up this series. So I will give the other books another chance. And maybe once I am more invested in this series, I will be able to come back to this book and physically read it, not listen to the audiobook so that I can ignore all the babes. But yeah, this didn't work for me. I'm so disappointed. Okay, I'm so excited. I want to show you guys the clothes that I just got. I ordered from a bookish merchandise shop. Hold on, let me take you into the office so I can show you guys because everything is so cute. I've been so excited. So the shop is called Book Babe Designs, and I normally don't really like bookish merchandise because it looks too, I don't like things that look too obviously like fandom, but the designs from the shop were so cute and subtle. And so she did a launch a couple weeks ago and I had it marked in my calendar. I set an alarm because things sold out within 3 minutes. I'm so glad I grabbed everything that I wanted. I scouted it out. I figured out what sizes I needed. I had my game plan and I got everything that I wanted. So yeah, I will link the shop below. She's gonna do another launch with new designs sometime this month in April. Hopefully I get this vlog up before that happens so you guys can know about it. But so this is the first thing that I got. It's this oversized t-shirt that says fantasy over reality. This design is so cute. I love this. It's this beautiful purple, but it's kind of faded and slightly ombre. It's a little lighter up top and then darker at the bottom. And then it's also kind of distressed all around the edges. And I have to say, I am so impressed with the quality of this t-shirt. It feels so high quality. So obsessed with this. Then I also got a beanie. It's this kind of dark forest green. It says raise hell, read books. And I love this. I probably won't be able to wear this anytime soon because it's turning into summer here in Texas. But in the fall and winter, I wear beanies pretty much every single day. So this is very cute. But the item that I was the most excited for, what drew my eye to this shop, is this black denim jacket. And on the back, it is embroidered and it says raise hell, read books, rock on. And it has stars and moon. Oh my God. I can't even tell you how obsessed I am with this jacket. It is so unbelievably cute, and I've already washed it a bunch of times so that I could fade it a little bit. I want to like really beat it up, and I was thinking I could like, I have a bunch of like patches and pins and stuff that I'm gonna put onto it. This is also probably something I won't really be able to wear out for a while, but I don't know, maybe like over a dress or something I could wear it. Look at the back. Can you guys see it? Look how freaking cute it is. I am just in love with how it looks. I think that all of her launches are like limited, so once they're gone, they're gone. But I have a feeling she might be restocking the jacket because this seems like it's a big seller. I don't know. That would be my guess, but I'm obsessed. I love all the stuff that I got. And I'm not like sponsored. I wasn't sent any of this. I set my alarm, purchased everything with my own money, and it was such a great decision. I've been so excited to get this stuff. Alright, so this morning I started the last book that I'm going to be reading in this vlog, and that is War by Laura Thalassa. So this is the second book in the Four Horsemen series. I loved book one. These are like post-apocalyptic romances where the four horsemen come down to end humans. So book one was Pestilence, and it was so good. It was so good. So I'm very excited about this one. It's already very different. So Pestilence took place in Canada, and then they traveled, I think, along like the west coast of the US. And this one takes place in Jerusalem. So already very different setting, which I really like. I like when in post-apocalyptic books, you get to see how it's affecting different places across the world, not just North America. War very much has like a Khal Drogo vibe to him. So this book starts out kind of similarly to the first one, where the main character tries to kill War. They are sword fighting and he knocks her sword out of her hand, and then she thinks that he's about to kill her, but instead he says, "You are my wife." And I already love that. He is already obsessed with her and has determined that she is his. So I'm gonna be reading this for the rest of today. I am literally doing nothing else, and even though it is kind of chunky, I read Pestilence in one sitting, so I feel like I will be able to read this today. Okay, so I just finished War, and I really enjoyed this. I'm giving it 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as Pestilence, because the thing that I loved about Pestilence so much was that he was very unaware of humans. Like, he felt very alien because he didn't understand like human emotions, human needs. He like didn't eat food, he didn't sleep, and he like didn't understand attraction. So like when he was feeling attraction to the main character, he was like, what the hell is this? Why am I feeling this disgusting feeling? And I just really liked that about him. Whereas War, he's been living among humans for a long time. He has an army of humans. War was a lot more accustomed to humans. Also, Pestilence was a virgin. War is not. War is a whore. So like, I didn't dislike him, but I just liked Pestilence better. However, I did really like the main character. And something that I love about this series, at least the 2 books that I've read, is it has my favorite trope, which is like a traveling journey where they have to travel on a horse and like camp out places. Both books now have followed that. And I don't care if it's repetitive, I will read any romance that has to do with traveling on a horse and camping in tents and having to sleep in close quarters. I love that. I will say this book was 5 stars up until the last like 50 pages. It has a trope that I hate. I especially don't like when this trope is used as like plot convenience to solve the conflict between the couple. So I didn't like how it ended, but I still enjoyed the book and I love this series. I can definitely see this being a top tier all-time favorite romance series for me, depending on how the next 2 books go. And I love how so far in both of these books, like, these horsemen are mass killing humans. Like, it's not like they're killing a couple people, they are mass killing. And the main characters are sort of like struggling with being attracted to people who are making humans extinct and killing so many people. But eventually they're like, you know what? They're too hot to care. They're too hot for me to care. And I love that, because if it was me, I would be a traitor. I would be a traitor to humans. Sorry. But if I had the chance to be a horseman's wife, I'm taking it. I do not care. So that is gonna be the end of this reading vlog. I kind of was all over the place with my opinions. I DNF'd Lesson in Corruption. I gave Savage Lover 3 stars. I gave this 4 stars. And I gave Stillbeating 5 stars. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts on them are. And I hope you guys liked this vlog. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!